Hello and welcome. This is class number 16 of Decoding PSIR through Answer Writing series, an initiative where I take a class on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. where we decode previous year questions of PSIR. We don't just write the answer, we first try and discuss that topic in detail and then try to write the answer. In case you have missed out on any of the earlier classes, because all these are extremely important for you, I am giving you the link of the entire playlist in the description of the video. Do go and watch that. The reason why these classes and this series is so important is that if you look at the previous year questions of UPSC from PSIR point of view, you will see that a lot of questions, the theory based questions specifically, keep on getting repeated time and time again. So if you want to ensure that your preparation is complete and you have covered everything about PSIR, make sure that you do go through previous year questions, especially the theory ones. And on that note, to make your preparation even better, I am launching our comprehensive course for PSIR optional, which will be a live course, 350 hours of classes, about 4.5 to 5 months. The course starts on the 24th of June. As a part of the course, you will also get to watch the recorded classes. In case you missed out on any of the live class, I'll give you all the study material in the PDF form. The previous year question will also be discussed, and each and everything that you needed to know or to get help about PSIR will be provided to you. In case you have any questions, feel free to contact us on this email ID or the number that is given to you. Please do that right away. Let's begin with the question that we have at our hand today. Today we have taken up a question from 2015. The question was, examine the challenges to sovereignty of the state in the contemporary world. So it's a long question, 250 words, 20 marks. 2015 was the time when it was asked. Now, if you look at this question, every single year in the PSIR paper, you'll at least see 1 to 2 questions which can be solved just by common sense without any technical knowledge of PSIR. So this is a very generic question. Even if you are not a student of PSIR, you should be able to answer this, because it's a generic question about how sovereignty of the nations is or are right now being put under threat. How is it? For example, there are external factors, external threats or factors, for example, the terror organizations. Then there are internal threats, because see, the idea of sovereignty is that the government of the day should have the power to rule the country. The government of the day should be able to decide what laws to make, and if that kind of a power is compromised in any manner, that will be a challenge to sovereignty. So there are internal factors, there are external factors. Not just this, there are some other interesting factors as well. For example, when you become a part of a larger group, a lot of countries have been trying to become part of NATO. The entire premise of the Ukraine-Russia war was, Russia said that Ukraine wants to join NATO, we don't want that. A lot of countries are trying to join these international groups. When you join a group, an international group where other countries mainly are bigger than you, that again is a compromise on your sovereignty. Because if you're a sovereign nation, that means you can decide whatever you want in the manner that you want for your country. You can decide the future of the country. But when you become a part of such multilateral organizations, then your decision is not just your decision. Then it has to become a decision of the collective. So even becoming a part of those multinational organizations can also hinder sovereignty to a certain extent. Then there are other challenges, cyber threats, etc., that have come up these days. So all these are challenges in these kind of questions, which are relatively easier to write than theory part. Because if you have not read the theory part, it becomes difficult for you to answer. But these kind of questions can be attempted by even those who have not read the theory part. So the challenge here is how to make your answer stand out, how to make your answer better. Now this is where examples come into the picture. So wherever possible, give real examples. When you write external threats, write about an example. When you say internal threats, write about an example. If you say multilateralism or multinational organizations coming in, then also write about examples. Real examples, as many of them as you can include in these kind of simple answers, the better your answer becomes. Because see, when the question is difficult, then the examiner can differentiate, because difficult questions are not written well by everyone. If you write difficult questions well, you will obviously get good marks, others will not. But when the question is easy, then it becomes even more challenging, because everyone will get good marks. So how will you differentiate? And your differentiating factor has to be writing precise and including real examples there. So let's see. We'll first try and define what sovereignty is. Sovereignty, as you know, is a concept where state has a supreme authority to govern itself. Every independent country proudly calls itself a sovereign country. Sovereign is a word which is written in a preamble as well. Now, what are different challenges? Again, there can be multiple challenges, but the main that would come to your mind, as I said, foreign intervention. There can be multiple such examples. We'll take the example of Iraq invasion by US. It can be for any reason whatsoever. But invasion of Iraq by US, that led to intervention in the national affairs of the country. US coming in, intervening in Vietnam in 1970s, 1960s. USSR coming into Afghanistan 1970s. That is also an example. So all these are examples of external intervention. Internal conflict, ongoing issue in Syria. Look at our next door neighbor Myanmar, that have been under the military rule since Feb 2021. So again, all these are examples when civil wars break out, when the military tries to overtake the power from the government. Other examples, regional integration. As I told you, when countries try to become a part of a larger group, they think that they will get better protection, which is true. Like in case of NATO, one of the objectives why countries want to join NATO is that they are assured of America's security guarantee. But it also leads to your own degradation and your own deterioration of national sovereignty. Like in European Union, countries which are a part of the European Union, on a lot of matters, they cannot make their own laws. The EU countries are governed by the laws made by the European Parliament on a lot of matters. They have to have open borders even if they don't like it. So again, an example that when you become part of a larger group, it might also erode your sovereignty. Globalization. So many big companies have so much power now because of their existence in different parts of the world. Take a simple example. Let's say Google does something which the government does not like, okay, and government will threaten Google that we'll put a fine on you. If Google tomorrow says that no, we'll not give you fine if you try to basically push, or if you try to impose a fine on us, we will leave your country. Imagine a country where would the people like that because of their government they don't have access to Google now. Such has become the power of these multinational organizations because of globalization, that they have captured the market to such a huge extent that if they just threaten the government that no, we will not work here or we will not exist in your country, that can actually have a disastrous consequence, and that can lead to country's sovereignty being eroded to a large extent. Then there are cyber threats. The example that I gave you, there have been multiple cyber attacks of different types, some of them targeting the government, some of them targeting private sector. There can be many examples, WannaCry, ransomware attack, all these. With increasing technology, with technology becoming more and more sophisticated, challenges to sovereignty have also been increasing. So this is what you need to know. Again, there can be other points also. This is not a definitive list. And this is basically what you have to rewrite in the answer as well. It's a pretty straightforward, simple question. What we discussed was actually the answer only, in a way. Examine the challenges to sovereignty of the state in contemporary world. So it can be, that was the answer only. You can write it point wise in whatever way that you want. You can give other examples. Just start with the definition of what sovereignty is, and then you can take it forward by writing again examples of how globalization has led to compromise on state sovereignty. Then again give examples of external threats, give examples of internal threat, give examples of multinational organizations coming together. Apart from that, you can also give examples of, let's say, sanctions, etc. being put. Organizations such as FATF, etc., when they place a country in the black list, grey list, they also try and affect the sovereignty of the country. All these can be the examples that you can write here. Then you can again try and conclude that with some more points about how more powerful countries intervene in smaller countries in the name of humanitarian crisis, in the name of safeguarding their country. Look at what's happening in Syria, look what happened earlier in Afghanistan, Vietnam, Iraq, etc. All that is an example of compromise of sovereignty. This was our session. I hope you liked it. Again, if you have any questions about the comprehensive PSIR optional course, feel free to reach out on WhatsApp, call or email. I'll be happy to resolve your doubts. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.